Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to write a personal statement to apply for university. Now this is specifically for UK universities, but I know that you can use it with European universities because I have edited some personal statements from students who have applied in Europe as well, but I am not sure about the United States or Asian countries. So let's begin. I'm going to speak about this as if you were applying for a master's degree in English, okay? The first thing that you need to know is that most UK universities have a letter limit, a maximum character limit of 3,000 letters. So this always needs to be brief. You need to write the whole statement, put all the sentences and words that you like, and then edit it. And then cut it down. Where you've used 3 sentences, summarize it into 1. But always remember to bring it back to the main topic, which is why do you want to study this course? Why should they choose you? You are writing this to sell yourself to somebody who's never met you so that they will buy you for the university course. So you need to promote yourself and tell them all the great things about you. So the first thing you need to cover is the introduction. Now, in the introduction, I see a lot of people make the same mistake. They make a general statement. They take a quote from somebody famous. So say you were, let's just come off topic and say you were studying fashion. And Coco Chanel once said, fashion is passion, okay? And you write that as your first thing. Now, you are writing to somebody who has spent at least 8 years in education, and the first thing that they read from you is Fashion is Passion by Coco Chanel. They have read this statement probably 100,000 times, and they say, oh no, not again. It's so cliche to use a quote from a famous person. Please do not do it. In your introduction, you want to start off by telling them what makes you interested in your subject and why you want to study this course. So, interested and why. So for example, you want to tell them that I've already completed an undergraduate degree in English, and I'm really interested in, for example, linguistics, and I think I can use this area to help children with learning disabilities learn to speak, for example. Or I want to study English because it's a lingua franca of the world these days, and I want to advance my country by teaching others to speak English. So you want to say something kind of general like that, but also something personal to you. So that is your introduction, and you do not want this to be long. You want this to be kind of 3 to 4 lines. Always type your statement on Microsoft Word, or a similar program. I'm not up for advertising for Microsoft here. Okay, the second section is the academic section. In this section, you want to talk about your academic history. You want to talk about your results. You want to talk about your skills that you got from studying. So for example, I have an undergraduate degree in English, and it's gave me excellent research skills and presentation skills and communication skills, something like that, okay? You also want to talk about any subject that you're particularly interested in here. So for example, you say, during my English undergraduate degree, we studied a module on critical theory, which I found very fascinating, and I then wrote a thesis about it. You want to talk about your thesis if it's relevant and if you got a good result. And why that was interesting to you. then you want to relate it back, obviously, to why you want to then study this subject. Now, don't worry if you have studied something that doesn't seem relevant. For example, if you studied an undergraduate degree in psychology, but you now want to study English, you can still make it relevant. You can say, I studied the theory of why people acquire language and how people speak in psychology. And I was so fascinated by this, I completed a dissertation or a thesis on the psychology of how and why people speak, and this is why I now want to study a master's in English. Okay? So you can always make it relevant. Just be honest. This is the main thing. Be honest. Now, in this section, if you have had a difficult experience during your studies, for example, say a family member so unfortunately died, and it was a close family member, tell them. Tell them, unfortunately, in my final year, my grandmother passed away, and I had to take a few weeks away from university. However, I still achieved 90% in my final essay. Show them your dedication, but show them that, you know, any difficult time that might explain why your result was not as good or that you could have done better, you know, just mention it. Don't be afraid to talk about things honestly. Your third section is going to be work experience. Now, the length of this section will depend on how much work experience you've got. Obviously, if you've just came from university, your academic section will be longer. If you've been out of education for, say, 10 years, your work experience needs to be longer. I'm going to talk here about any skills that you've got from working. So, for example, say you were working as a tour guide, you want to say, I've learned so much about the history of my country and gained communication skills to educate tourists about this subject. Or say you were working as a teacher, you want to say, you know, why you've enjoyed being a teacher and what skills that has given you. So here you want to talk about your work experience, but make it relevant to your course and what skills it's gave you. And suggest, talk about any volunteering that you've done. So volunteering always looks good. If you've done any volunteering, tell them what skills that has gave you as well. And if your work experience or your academic background is not relevant to what you're applying for, but your volunteering is, really focus on this. Say that like this shows why you want to study the subject and that you've made an effort to study the subject. Now, related to this is the next section, which is about you. Now, the first thing I would lead with, which will connect this third paragraph to your fourth paragraph, is what you have done to prepare for university. So, for example, if you've been reading books, so you want to talk about preparing, if you've been reading books on the subject, or you have attended some lectures or some workshops, even if they're online, or if you have been taking extra lessons, like tutoring lessons for yourself, mention it here so that they can show that you know about this subject and that you are really passionate about following this through, that you are going to finish your degree. In this section, you also want to talk about your hobbies. Now, this does not have to be relevant to what you want to study. Say, on Saturdays, I like to play football in a team with my friends. Even if you like to go to a coffee shop or go shopping with your friends, mention it. And you might want to explain it like, because this helps me relax, I have such a busy life and I work all week, so my way to relax is to go to the coffee shop with my friends. That you are an all-round person, that you are a balanced person. So here, talk about yourself. Talk about what you like to do. And the final section, number 5, is the conclusion. This you don't want to be very long. You literally want it to be between 2 and 4 lines. And again, this whole time you have been telling somebody how great you are. Like, for example, maybe you got an award for your dissertation, maybe it was republished. As I mentioned, you're all the time selling yourself. So you just want to summarize this. You want to say, my skills, my achievements, my like volunteering, all shows that I am a great candidate, that I am passionate, and that they should choose you. But don't write, and you should choose me. Don't write that. I forgot to mention something actually. You want to talk about your future. So you might want to talk about it here after preparing, about your future. You want to tell them why you want to do this degree. So for example, I want to do a master's degree in language because this is required to teach English in my country. Or I want to do a master's degree to then study a PhD because there is a subject I'm really interested in and I think has not been properly researched, and maybe you can mention that subject. Or I want to study a master's because I'm really interested in it and I think it would help me to develop as a person and improve my knowledge, and I'd like to work in a specific industry. Even if it doesn't seem related, tell them how it's related. Say, I want to study a master's degree in English so that I can work in an engineering factory, because then I can use English to market the business to get overseas opportunities. So always sell yourself. Tell them everything great about you and try to use this format, because in my experience this has good success. So I wish you all the best and good luck in your studies. Bye!